deep in your bitch like a hole in one. Call me dollar sign. Bitch, I got more than one. I just was your bitch. I just trust your bitch. Hey, hey. All right, my fault, my fault. Hold on. All right, all right, all right, all right. All right. Hold on. Let me get. Hey, I. That's how Cardano sound. No, no, what's that name? Bad Bunny. He say, oi. No, anyway, let me get into it. Let me stop playing. This is a serious video. But so boom. Let me get close to the damn mic so y'all can hear me. All right. So boom, boom, boom. So this video gonna be a real good one, a real thorough about hold on. I hold on. All right. So yeah, so this video gonna be about the spirituality of God of War, right? So boom, we get into it right now. So all right, so hold on 1 second. All right, so look, the first thing we're gonna talk about right off the bat is gonna be Kratos. Well, we're gonna talk about Kratos the whole way because he is technically God of War, but we specifically talk about Kratos and what he represents, and we're gonna talk about how Kratos represents Redshift, right? Redshift, aka Mars and Pluto energies. Now, Mars and Pluto energies are not the only energies that deal with a certain type of temperament, a certain type of shift, a certain type of warlike energy. But at the same time, the way it's filtered in here to be vibrating in the specific way it vibrates here, for we to see that as an emotion and feeling, and for it to manifest as a color, for what we know as being violent, aggressive, angry, red shift, passion, that whole red shift energy in general is going to be back to support it in this reality by Mars and Pluto. So we know right off the bat, Kratos represents the red shift, aka Mars and Pluto energies. Now, passion and anger and desire is so strong it can destroy anything in this way, good or bad. Understanding this part about Kratos, right? So Kratos is that red shift, but see, Kratos is really it's Mars energy because it's dealing with war and it's dealing with deep transformation and passion. But I say it's more so with Pluto because actually no, it's Pluto. Yeah, Pluto is deep transformation, deep passion. It's just it's red too, but it's deep passion, deep motivation, deep anger, deep real power. You see what I'm saying? And it's also power and control. And so I'm gonna say Kratos by nature is more so towards the Pluto energies more than anything. But by default is Mars energies too because Pluto and Mars is just the same energy. It's feminine and masculine of the same energy, mind you, right? So understand that. Mars is the masculine side, Pluto is the feminine side of the same energy, that same red shift. So understand that, right? Shout out to Ibn Coppins. Ibn Coppins, yeah. So boom, so understanding that. So you're already dealing with red shift, so this is dealing with and since this is dark and deep, that means this is stronger energy of red shift, not just any red shift. It's a deep, strong red shift. So this is passion and anger and desire so strong it can destroy anything in its way, good or bad. Now, none of these energies are good or bad. It depends on how a person used them and what they're using it for. What's good for me may not be good for you. What's good for you may not be good for me. Now, Kratos had a certain type of mission that he was going about. He just happened to naturally have these energies. He utilized these energies to get what he wanted into whatever mission he was on. Now, good for him might have came out of that, and negative for him might have came out of that. But either way, this is passion and anger and desire he had that was so strong that he can destroy anything in his way, good or bad. And sometimes it put him in situations where he hurt the people that he even loved most. Understanding that. He said, "Hello, Samsung. I'll give you your first like for your stream. Appreciate you, Evan. Um, shout out to Evan. Go follow Evan. Now, moving on. Understanding this. Um, Kratos represents fire. Fire burns through reality, causing destruction. So when you talk about Kratos, this is why Kratos was like a physical Kratos is almost like a physical representation of fire. When you think about fire, like shout out to California right now. Everybody, what is it, Perry, California, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like how California got all them fire seas burning through everything. It's like fire is just, that's how fire is. Once fire starts, fire can be expansive, but it just burn through everything. You see what I'm saying? It can be a very destructive force if it's not homed and put into the right areas for particular purpose. See, fire has to always have direction. That's one thing about fire people don't know. Fire is spontaneous, but fire has to always have a sense of direction. It has to have something. You see what I'm saying? Because if it's just all over the place, just burning everything, that's not necessarily, you know what I'm saying? That's not productive. But anyway, that's the energy that fire Kratos represents as fire. And once more time, fire burns through reality, causing destruction. So Another one. This is another big one. When we talk about Kratos and his wings. When Kratos got those wings, and because he escaped out of hell. So let's talk about hell. When Kratos was in hell, that means he was in a deep circumstance, a deep situation that he caused himself to be in hell, or be in a cage, or be in a situation that made him felt like he was in a certain routine and pattern that he didn't like to be in. He was in a dark place. He was in a dark cloud. He had a dark cloud over him. The This is all etymology and esoteric meaning and metaphysical. So when you see him having wings, that means he was less dense, or aka he was able to vibrate higher and not be on a low frequency or vibrate so low to the point where he was able to be light. Because when you light as a feather, that's how you ascend. That's how you elevate. And so Kratos, as much as destructive and as he may seem, he was able to not be attached to something and not be attached to anything basically, and be able to be light and be free. And this is, and like I told you in my other videos, anytime you see a being or character with wings, wings symbolize being light, not being heavily emotionally impacted, not letting nothing hold you down, not letting nothing weigh you down, not being attached to anything, being light as a feather. I don't care if you're the biggest killer, the biggest destruction, the Hitler or whatever. If you have the energy of being light and not being attached to something, and not letting something hold you down, then you're gonna rise above your situation and circumstances, no matter how messed up it looks, it seems in the third dimension to other people. And this is what Kratos was. So Kratos, when he got those wings, that was an example of him being light and being able to get out of hell. This was like how the hell. It was like how the hell you got out of hell, because he was able to be light and be free so much so that he was able to ascend and get out of that mess, get out of hell. See what I'm saying? Is no matter how dark his energy may be, he was able to utilize the energy of being light and being free and not being attached to anything. Because remember, even demons got wings. So anytime you see something with wings, that lets you know they're able to rise above certain lower natures. Even if they still resonate mostly with those natures, they're able to rise above them and not let them hold them down. That's different, because that means you're not attached to them, and that's important for any being. Before we start putting right and wrongs on stuff, just understand that, because obviously that demon gonna be a lot more further than you if you still letting things hold you down in your own life. What good is you acting like you trying to be a good guy and being good to the good Mr. Goody Two Shoes, yet you still letting your circumstances weigh you down and make you be heavy. You not being light as a feather. So that demon obviously closer to God than you are. But that's the difference. But we don't get too deep into that. But I mean, hey, just know that. But anyway, moving on. This is another one we're gonna talk about. Spartan Rage, right? Spartan Rage. Hold on one second. Okay, here we go. Kratos Spartan Rage. What does this represent? Spartan Rage. Anger and rage. Anger and rage deal with root chakra energies. Kratos, he had a very strong root chakra, which is also why he attracted so much sexual opportunity. But he also had good control of his sexual energies and was never desperate and could even be fine without it for a long period of time. I say that to shout out to me and my brother, man. Y'all go follow his channel, man. Glad to see y'all in here, all y'all. Much love. When you talk about Kratos, the reason why I break that down is because you have to understand this. Kratos, what is Kratos' color? It was like a deep dark. It wasn't just any red. It wasn't like the Incredibles from Disney red. Like, you know, the Mr. Incredible, he had red too. That was like a lighter red. So it's still strength, passion. But Kratos was a deep red. So it's deep strength and deep passion, deep transformation and deep motivation, to the point where a lot of times Kratos was just being by himself because he was dealing with so much internal stuff. But anger and rage deal with that color. And so that's still the root chakra, right? So these are all of his energies. That's why I say he had a very strong root chakra anyway, because that was the way his aura and his color, that was his energy in general. That's why they made his color that way. Which is also why I say he attracted so much sexual opportunity, because the root chakra does those energies in general. So for Kratos' energy naturally, that is his true space. Kratos' true space is in that nature. He just had to learn to develop it and be able to control it, because you can't have yin without yang. You got to have both to have a blend. That's how you master yourself. So he was on the road to master himself. That's why later on in God of War 4 he was more controlled, but he still had that inner fire within him. Don't let it fool you. He still had that in you. He just able to more control it more. Kind of like the Hulk later on in the years. Hulk was able to meditate and harness his energies and cultivate and have him in one direction and not let him get all. He was able to transmute his energies to not let it overwhelm him and have control of him. So boom, back to what I was saying. He had, that's why he had so much sexual opportunity, because his root chakra was so lit. He had a flaming, Kratos had a flaming root chakra. That was his truest energy in general. It's kind of like everybody. Everybody got a certain chakra that they resonate with the most, because that's what they soul. That's probably the field that they soul come from. They soul come from that space where that energy got birthed out of. This is why some people are more comfortable being in their emotions, because they soul might have came from, they may be from a spirit or a soul or a piece of the universe where the energy or the spirit they got birthed from, where they spiritually was birthed from, not physically, but spiritually was birthed from this place that dealt more so with the water element esoterically, which is emotions and feelings. So they probably was put more comfortable being in the emotions and feelings. It don't overwhelm them like it may have overwhelmed me or you because they naturally come from that. That's what makes them feel comfortable. Same thing with Kratos. Kratos came from the part that came from the fire spectrum that deal with passion, imaginations, visions, but also anger, aggression. You see what I'm saying? Deep sexuality, all that stuff. He came from that, so that's what makes him feel comfortable. That's why Kratos was just being himself. He didn't have to be around nobody and follow nobody. He was being himself. If he died on his own, he died on his own. But he knew how to be himself and be his truest self, and that was his energy. It was passion. It was a deep red spectrum. That was he naturally came from. What made him feel comfortable. So the root chakra deal with that, right? So of course, by nature, he's always gonna have more fit with his root chakra than maybe the average person, than the average other person, because that's his truest energy. So he had a good but he also had good control of his sexual energies, which further equates my point anyway. But he had good control of his sexual energies. He didn't let it get out of control, and he was never desperate and could even be fine without it for a long period of time, because he could manifest so much sexual opportunity. He could do the darn thing. He could have sexual opportunities and have sexual situations, but it wasn't like he let that stuff overrun him like some other people or some other characters in movies, shows, cartoons, whatever, anime, whatever, let that stuff overwhelm them. You see what I'm saying? Where it's like, yeah, they got good power, they'll fight, but they feel like they have to be around these females. They have to F, they have to do this. Where Kratos a lot of times he wasn't even he didn't feel like he needed these things. These are stuff that came and gone. He was never attached to these things. If you pay attention, Kato was actually slightly spiritual, because even though as crazy as he was, not crazy, but as much as unhinged as he was, he actually carried out a lot of practices that a lot of people could use too. He had good control of his sexual energies. He wasn't attached to anything. He was actually light. Like, he wasn't letting stuff hold him down to an extent. Like, I ain't saying he didn't have certain moments where he effed up and it deeply impacted him, because he did take his life in one of the series, or he tried to. But for the most part, he was not. He was able to, like, not be as attached to certain things the same way certain other people would be attached to them. It was more so of a was what it was with situation. But I don't want to speak on everything, because because it was certain stuff he was into that he didn't want. You know what I mean? At different times that he probably didn't want to let go. But I'm just saying, the fact that you see him play out like with wings and getting out of hell, whether he stole those wings from somebody else, whether he found those wings, whether he created that wings or whatever, that's symbology and etymology of him. Not etymology, but metaphysical meaning of him being in a situation where was able to rise above his situations and not let them be heavy and hold him down. So he was able to vibrate higher and be light as a feather. So he can. That's how you levitate. That is how you fly. Anytime you see any creature with wings that can fly, that means that they're not vibrating low and heavy vibrational. That means they're on vibrating higher and they're light as a feather, so they're able to be free and float off. That's the best way to explain it. That's real talk. That's real talk. So yes, he had good control of sexual energies. He had powerful sexual energies, but he also was able to never be desperate and be fine without it for a long period of time. So boom, and then one of the other one is the whole Kratos story was representation of how when you let your anger take control and don't take control of those energies, they can burn bridges in your life, cause destruction, and destroy everything around you. Yes, and this is why I said before when I said fire, Kratos represents fire. Fire burns through reality, causing destruction. So fire is one of the first elements, one of the most powerful elements, not the first, but one of the first elements that got birthed out of that actual spiritual space. Um, and it's very beneficial in different ways. But fire, when it's out of control, especially in this reality, it's really no good or bad. It's only because of how people look at it. But for the sake of it, we'll just talk like that. So when it comes to the earth element, if you don't have control of your fire, fire gonna do what? Burn everything down. Burn everything down. Everything you got that's quote unquote good, seeds, nutrients, everything get burnt down, and it don't be in a situation where it helps build up and heal. It just destroys. So you got to have balance with your fires and have good direction and transportation with these fire energies, and have good control of your fires and your passions, anger, your sexual energies, your all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Your motivations, your deep desires. You got to have control of these things and be able to bound them for 100 years sometimes. Or there's nothing wrong with utilize them. Just being in situations where you can have control of them and not let them get a hold of you. You see what I'm saying? Or you can burn bridges with people that you don't need to necessarily burn bridges with you. A lot of misunderstandings that could be going down. You can cause destruction and destroy everything around you that you actually love, and harm other people that don't need to be. That I think I'm covering up the damn mic. Are harming people that didn't need to be harmed. And then lastly, but not least, planetary energies. I already wrote that down, but yeah, Kratos basically, if anything, he had a. It was a lot of planetary energies Kratos had. The main ones is Pluto and Mars. Pluto, because Pluto's is deep, secrets, desires, transformation, power, control at its core. And you see he played it out more than anything else. And then Mars, because that's obviously war-like energies, confrontation, that red shift, that anger, that passion, that aggressive, sexual energies, all that stuff too. And then he also utilized, believe it or not, a strong sense of the Uranus energy, because he was in a situation where Uranus is the energy of being different or being unique, rebellion, opposition, not going with the pack, being your own individual, refusing to go along with the waves and shift. Maybe being a black sheep, refusing to be an actual sheep. You see what I'm saying? That's the energy of Uranus. It's not going along with the pack and with the flow of what's normal, being unique and being original. You see what I'm saying? Even to the point where you may be looked at as weird or different or unique or whatever. That he carried out a lot of energies like that too. I'm trying to think of something else too. But that's pretty much Credos for you, man. And with that being said, man, this video pretty much over. Let me see. Hold on. But that's pretty much it. It wasn't much to it. Yeah, that's it. Hey, much love to y'all, man. Y'all have a great day, man. Hit me up with the comment section for good questions, man. Get back with you, man. Much love. Boom. I'm out of here.